So you're planning on selling your home in 2025. Well, I've got 3 tips for you to make you more money when you actually do that. Number 1, first and foremost, is do not do any upgrades to your home. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I'm gonna explain more in a minute. That's number 1, is do not do any upgrades to your home. Number 2 is that the second you've decided that you're going to move, start packing sooner than later. Number 3 is create a game plan so that you can actually accomplish what you're trying to do. Okay, now we're gonna break this down into much more detail, but the reason that I wanna share with you these 3 simple tips is because we help hundreds of people sell their homes. And honestly, these are the 3 most common things that I see sellers make huge mistakes on. And a lot of the times it costs them headache more than anything, but I've seen a lot of people spend way too much money putting their home on the market and not getting returns. So these are the 3 simple tips I'm breaking down. Now, number 1, like I said, the first thing we're gonna talk about is not doing any upgrades or repairs even before you put your home on the market. Now, let me explain, because there's a big asterisk here, is you wanna make sure you're actually putting money where it needs to go. Now, if you are going to do work to your home before you sell it, there's only 2 reasons. There's no other reason why you should do any work to your home. There's 2 reasons. Number 1 is that you are going to add more value than what you spend, meaning, and ideally, like way more. If you spend $5,000 and it raises your home's value by $5,000, it's literally a waste of time and money and resources. Now, number 2 is it's because it's going to make your home sell faster. Now, if you did do something that cost $5,000 and the only thing it did was make your home sell faster, that could be worth it. Most likely it's not. The things that we like to do with our clients is we go through and we do our strategy sessions for our homeowners and our sellers, is we go through and we try to find the absolute easiest opportunities for you to make more money. We look for the low-hanging fruit here. If we can spend $5,000, sell the home faster, and sell it for $25,000 more, those are the situations where we're gonna suggest to make those changes. Now, I have seen so many different sellers go in and do work, and they spend a lot of money. They might spend, for example, $50,000 on their kitchen, on their landscaping, on whatever, and it might not even affect the home's value, like literally at all. I've seen this happen a lot where somebody will explain all the things they've done to their home so that they can sell it, and literally none of them actually raise the home's value. This happens so frequently that's why we're making this video. I think a perfect example of this is a home we just put on the market recently. They had got quotes from 2 or 3 different companies for well over $100,000 worth of work to be done. We ended up coming in and saying you do not need to do any of these things, or I should say most of these things, and they ended up doing more than we actually suggested, and they spent about $40,000, and it raised the home's value over $100,000. So that was more than a 2 times return on that initial $40,000, but it also sold the home significantly faster by doing those repairs. Now, if they had spent that extra, what is that math? An extra $80,000 to spend the $125,000 that they were originally suggested, they would not have sold the home for $85,000 more than it did sell for. It might have sold for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 more, but that means they would have lost money on that extra $80,000 that 2 or 3 other agents actually told them to do, because they wanted to do a full house remodel. We wanted to make it as simple and easy as possible. Not to mention, this got the home on the market 2 months sooner. If we would have gone in and done a full renovation to this property, they would have been paying a mortgage and property taxes and everything on it, which would have cost an additional $10,000. So not only would they not have made money on the extra money they spent, they would have 2 months longer before they could ever go to the market, and they would not have made any money, any extra money, by spending that extra cost. So this is one of the major things. Okay, so this is number 1. Do not do any upgrades to your home unless you are absolutely certain it's doing one of those 2 things: selling the home faster, or it's increasing the value. And this is what your real estate agents, us, are here for. Now, number 2 is that once you've decided you're going to start moving, you want to start packing and decluttering as soon as possible. Go to Home Depot, go to wherever you buy your boxes, and start packing them up. Now, I'm going to give you a pro tip here to hopefully make your life a little bit easier through this process, because packing is not exactly fun. I've moved several times in my life. I get it, trust me. Here's the advice: is grab your boxes, get packed up as much as you can. A lot of people underestimate how much stuff they have and how long it takes to actually pack these things up, especially if you're doing it yourself and you're not hiring somebody. So here's the pro tip: is your closets, other than the master, like the primary or master suite, every closet in the house can be jam-packed full of stuff. Number two is the garage can be literally packed all the way to the ceiling and it doesn't affect the home's value at all. It doesn't affect the touring experience whatsoever. So if you want to just pack boxes off to the side in your garage and then over time totally fill it up, that is fine. You could literally just do that and declutter the home. Looping back to the first thing we talked about, the easy stuff to do. You're gonna move anyway, you're gonna pack all this stuff up anyway. Decluttering, depersonalizing, getting all the stuff out of your house is something that can raise your home's value by an alarming amount. A lot of people overlook this. Now, the reason this is important is because most home buyers are emotional home buyers. There's very, very few home buyers that are out there that are only making logic decisions. And usually they're investors, and usually they're not paying the most money possible. So if your goal is to get a good value for your home, decluttering is the easiest. You're gonna have to do it anyway. You're gonna move out anyway. So getting this stuff out of the house is going to return you a ton of money. Now, here's the real reason why, is because most home buyers are making emotional decisions. It's also true that most home buyers cannot see past stuff. So if you have a room with all kind of things and character and just stuff that we accumulate over time, if you walk through my house, you would see stuff and it would look like my house. And what you want your home to look like when you're selling it, assuming your goal is to sell it for as most money as possible, you want to make it look like a home that they can call their home. Or I should say, you want to make it look like a house that they can call home. You don't want it to look like your home, if that makes sense. But that's where you're really pulling at the buyer's emotional strings. It's just like if you go to brand new home construction, they spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on staging. It's because they want to make the house look as good as possible so as many buyers walk in there and can possibly see them growing their family, living in this home, making it their next investment, whatever it might be. So this is why number two is getting your stuff packed up as soon as possible is going to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier, and it's going to make you more money. Okay, now let's move on to number three, which is creating a game plan and a timeline for the sale of your property. Now, what I'll do is I'll share with you how we do this with our clients so that you can hopefully think through these different situations. Now, we always like to begin with the end in mind when we're talking to somebody who's looking to sell their home. And when we say begin with the end in mind, here's kind of the questions that we ask. We ask, what are you trying to accomplish with the sale of this home? The reason we ask that is because not everybody wants to sell the house for as much money as possible. Some people want a discreet sale. Somebody don't want anybody to know the house is for sale. It's a little bit different than wanting to sell the home for as much money as possible, where you want to make sure everybody knows the home is for sale. And there's everything in between. There's a lot of different situations. So that's what we want to make sure we understand first, is what is it that we're trying to accomplish with the sale of this home. Number two, we are really trying to understand, where are you moving? If this is your primary residence and you're living in the home, where are you moving? What is that going to look like? Are you selling this home contingent upon buying something? Are you buying something contingent upon this home selling? Are you selling this house and then moving? Are you moving and then selling this house and it'll be vacant? Right? There's so many different ways that this can happen. We really want to make sure we understand what our clients or what you want to do with the sale of your home. There's not a one-size-fits-all approach, or at least there shouldn't be. Now, the next thing is, when do you want to get the check for the proceeds? Meaning, like, when do you want the home sold? On the market and sold are two different things. Depending on market conditions, depending on pricing strategies, depending on how the house looks, the time on market is going to depend. It's going to depend on your market conditions for your home, and it's going to depend on the strategy you choose to put your home to market. Some are going to move faster, some are going to move slower. So beginning with the end in mind takes all of this information that you would share with us, and then we can create a strategy based on what you're looking to do. Again, like I said, there's not a one-size-fits-all approach to selling real estate. There really shouldn't be. There's a lot of different situations that you are going through, and you want to make sure you choose the strategy that makes the most sense for your situation. It's always why we have offered a menu of different services, ranging from cash offers for an instant quick sale, all the way to white glove service that has us renovate clients' houses with no money out of pocket. There's everything in between as well, and this is that menu of services. So I hope these three different tips made it a little bit easier if you're thinking about selling in 2025 or at any point. If you want to talk about a seller strategy session, go to onyxhomes.com and click the sell button, drop your information. And if you're already working with an agent here at Onyx Homes, one, that's fantastic. You're in really good hands. But two, just reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to do a seller strategy session. I'm thinking about selling. Get your agent involved way ahead of time. And if you're not already working with somebody, go to onyxhomes.com/sell or click the sell button on our homepage and we will talk to you soon. Again, my name is Christian Stubbs, team leader and owner here of Onyx Homes. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.